Some breaking news here. Conservative Party leader Pierre Poilievre is demanding that Prime Minister Justin Trudeau cancel the 23% planned increase to the carbon tax on April 1st, or the Conservative Party will have a no confidence vote on Justin Trudeau's Liberal government tomorrow in Parliament. Now, if you've been watching Canadian politics for even a moderate amount of time, you already know that this vote is not actually going to succeed in its literal intent to dissolve the government and have a new federal election. The NDP and the Bloc will vote to hold up the Liberal government. But what Pierre Poilievre is actually doing here is a piece of political calculus I think is actually extremely smart. I first want to play the video of him announcing this action, and then I want to jump over to why I believe this is actually kind of a stroke of political genius. Because what he is doing here is obviously not trying to topple the government, but make the NDP, the Bloc, and the Liberals all put their money where their mouths are. But before I get to the video, I just want to quickly do a shameless plug that I, Wyatt Claypool, am running for the Conservative Party nomination for Calgary Signal Hill. It's on the west side of Calgary, so if you live in this area, check if you live in the riding, buy a Conservative Party membership, and check out my website in the description below, wyattclaypool.com. Anyways, here is Pierre Poilievre making this announcement about the carbon tax non-confidence vote.
This is a hell we could not have imagined 8 years ago. In fact, of all the warnings we made about Justin Trudeau, that the media decried as partisanship, we never even came close to claiming he would do the things that he has now in reality done. We were far, far too generous towards him in our interpretation of what would happen to this country under 8 years of his socialist NDP policies. So now, today I'm announcing that I'm giving Trudeau one last chance to spike his hike. One last chance and only one more day. Today I'm announcing that if Trudeau does not declare today an end to his forthcoming tax increases on food, gas, and heat, that we will introduce a motion of non-confidence in the Prime Minister. It will read that the House declare non-confidence in the Prime Minister and his costly government for increasing the carbon tax by 23% on April 1st as part of his plan to quadruple the tax while Canadians cannot afford to eat, heat, and house themselves, and call for the House to be dissolved so Canadians can vote in a carbon tax election.
Now, this is actually a genius piece of political theater. Obviously, again, the non-confidence vote is not going to succeed in dissolving the government. But what Poilievre is doing is forcing the Liberals to vote in favor, or at least say that they will maintain the carbon tax increases. Because when the carbon tax was first passed, basically every year or so, there was planned increases in the rate of the carbon tax. And these were sort of automatically set. So the Liberals haven't had to vote on each new increase of the carbon tax. And this one coming up on April 1st is highly controversial. So Poilievre, knowing Trudeau is probably not going to pause it or even cancel the increase, he is forcing the Liberals to now, in a no confidence vote, or at least forcing the Bloc and the NDP to say that they're on board with what the Liberals are doing right now. They don't care how high the carbon tax goes. They care more about keeping their seats in Parliament than opposing bad Justin Trudeau, legislation and sort of, high taxes. What Pierre Poilievre is also doing is he's framing a theoretical new election as a referendum on the carbon tax. The carbon tax has become extremely unpopular, and especially with the Conservatives occupying the anti-carbon tax position and all the other left-wing parties occupying the pro-carbon tax position, he could end up winning 60% plus of the vote just based on this issue alone, if you were assuming that people were going to break down along the lines of being pro-carbon tax or anti-carbon tax. So Pierre Poilievre is going to force the NDP all the way to keep showing that they stand with Trudeau on all of their terrible, unpopular policies, that even the NDP base, the Bloc base, all these other parties supporting the Liberals, their bases hate these policies. They hate the incredibly high cost of living. And Poilievre is forcing them to double and triple down on the things that they don't want to actually define them as parties in the next election. But Trudeau doesn't want to get rid of the carbon tax, but he also doesn't want to have to own the carbon tax. That is why they keep trying to brand the carbon taxes now. Oh, it's the carbon rebate program, because carbon rebate sounds better than carbon tax. And or they also say price on pollution. So Trudeau he can't get rid of the carbon tax now, because once Poilievre has demanded he do it, now there is a 0% chance Justin Trudeau will do it, because if he does it, he looks weak. Trudeau is weak, but he's also very petty, and Trudeau is more petty in wanting to maintain the position he has than actually do something that will make him more popular, just because Pierre Poilievre challenged him to do it. Anyways, that should be it for me today. I'm really excited to see what's going to come out of this, because there's going to be a lot of whining and flopping around by the Liberals, NDP, and Bloc, not wanting to do this no confidence vote, but also unwilling to actually defend the carbon tax. I mentioned the fact that I'm running for the Conservative nomination, Signal Hill, but I also have the legal fund for myself and the National Telegraph linked in the description. It's a Give, Send, Go link. We have a billionaire developer suing us over a nonsense defamation claim. So if you want to contribute to our legal fund, it really helps us out. Have a great one, everyone.